Hi guys, and welcome back to Prosys OPC's YouTube channel. My name is Ivo, and in today's video we are going to use our Forge application for data logging. We are going to use InfluxDB, PostgreSQL and CSV as our data sinks. The first part will cover data logging to InfluxDB, then we are going to do the configuration for Postgre, and finally we are going to use CSV as our data sink. So let's begin. First, we need to start the data logger module. So it's done from the dashboard view. And after the module is started, we can navigate to data logger. And here we first need to do the configuration for the data sink. I'm going to press add the sink. And here, let's say this is going to be our influx sink. And the Influx is installed locally, and it's the web UI is accessed from here. So it's running in the same computer. So I'm gonna copy this configuration stuff from here. I need the name and the ID. Next, I'm going to create a new bucket. Let's say it's going to be test bucket, and the API URL I can copy from the web UI and just remove the end of that part. The API token I have saved to my computer, so I will copy that from my old file system, and then this influx configuration is ready. I can press add. Next, I need to configure then the logging profile, where I need to add a new profile. Let's say this is gonna be influx profile, and I don't have any measurements because it's a new bucket, so I need to create a new measurement. Let's say this is like this. So next I'm going to just add here this tag name and then a field name for the value. Let's say it's going to be just a value, and then the profile is ready, and then we can follow with the final configuration, which is then the logger. Let's say this is going to be then influx logger. I see the profile here, the influx profile, so I select that one, and then I can add this logger. Finally, I just add the nodes that I want to start logging to influx. So I'm gonna get this same parameter that I have used in the previous videos. I go to the my coffee and I select the first one. And yeah, finally I add that one, and we can then go check it out from the influx. So I go to the buckets. I should find the test bucket from here. It's right here, bottom, and then I see my measurement that I created. I will select the field and the ID, and yeah, I can see that the values are available now here. And if we look the raw data, we can see that I could configure these fields in Forge to fit my usage. And that's about it from the influx. Next, we are going to go to configure a new data sink to Postgres. To begin with the Postgres data sink, I need to go back to the data sinks, add a new sink, and let's say this is going to be then Postgres sink. And I select now the sink type to be SQL, and here I can now select this PostgreSQL. It's installed locally, the Postgres server, so that's then can be localhost. I have a database configured there, which is named my database. The user is Postgres, and then I give the password for that username, and the configuration is ready. And then I can continue the logging profile where I select the Postgres sync and add a new profile to that. I name it, let's say, Postgres profile. And then I have already configured this table to my database. And here with the SQL data logger, you need to do the table before configuring Forge. So you will see the available columns now from here, and you could even add more from the plus sign. But yeah, to be able to configure SQL data logger, you need to have the table ready with the columns to be able to do the configuration. And finally, we go to the data logger where I then create a new one. It's Postgres logger. And the profile now has multiple options, but I go with the Postgres profile. And then I need to add a node to this logger, and I will again use the same node here. And now we can go check whether we have received these values, and with this query we can see that we received the value with our columns available. Next we go to the final part, which is the CSV data logging. Again, to start configuring new data sync for the CSV file, we go to the data sync view where we gonna create a new sync, let's say CSV, and the type is CSV. I have prepared folders for my loggings, so I will copy the file paths here, and then you could configure the file size limits and that stuff, but I go with the default values. I press add, and I go to logging profiles where I select again now the CSV sync, and let's say this is going to be the CSV profile, and it's gonna be forge data.csv. So now it will recognize the file type, and then I create these columns like this, and yeah, I'm ready. I could add more columns if I would like to, but I go with these three options here, and yeah, I can add that profile. Finally, I need to do the logger here, so I create a new logger for the CSV. It's going to be CSV logger, and from the profiles I select the CSV profile, and I go with the default values, and I press add. And the final step that we have done for every logger, so we need to add the node or the nodes that we want to start logging. And just like that, it's now done. And from the logs file, I can open the Excel, and I see that I have received some values from the node. So that's all three data syncs configured. In the next video, we will show you how to create reverse connections to and from Forge. Don't miss it. Thanks for checking out Forge with us. If you found this video helpful, give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more content. We would love to hear your feedback, so drop us a comment below or reach out using the info in the description box. Until next time.